So you see, in the last class, we have defined second order derivatives, partial derivatives. So we had this situation that you have a function f, which is a function of two variables, x and y. So you can define fxx, fxy, fyx, fyy. Here, this means you are differentiating with respect to x first, and with x the second time. Here, you are differentiating with respect to x first, and then with respect to y. Here, you are differentiating with respect to y first, and then with respect to x. Right? So this notation should be clear to you. So if you write it in the other notation, this will be curly 2f by curly x2. This will be curly 2f curly y curly x, because first you will differentiate with respect to x, then with respect to y, and this will be curly f by curly x curly y, and this will be curly 2f by curly y2, right? And most of the times, as we have done in the last class, fxy is equal to fyx, right? But we do have examples where fxy may not be equal to fyx, right? So let us see what is the situation where fxy is not equal to fyx. So I'll give you an example. Consider your function fxy is xy into x square minus y square upon x square plus y square if xy is not equal to 0, 0, and this is 0 if xy equal to 0, 0. So this is a function, and you have to compute fxy at 0, 0 and fyx at 0, 0. So let us compute fxy or fyx. You can compute whatever you want. So let us do this thing. What do you mean by fyx? It is curly by, first you are differentiating with respect to y, and then whatever is there, you are differentiating that with respect to x. So by definition, this is equal to limit h goes to 0. This is your fy, right? Fy 0 plus h, because we are computing it at 0, 0, right? We are computing everything at 0, 0. 0 plus h comma k minus comma 0 minus fy 0 comma 0 upon h. Is this in clear? This is the definition of partial derivative with respect to x. At the point 0, 0, you will just increase in the x coordinate, y coordinate you will keep as such, right? Now, you need to compute what is this fy at h comma 0. This is curly by curly y, curly f by curly y at h comma 0. So that by definition is limit k going to 0 f of h 0 plus k minus f of h comma 0 upon k. You see, here you are, this h you treat it as a constant because you have to differentiate with respect to y. So you will increase the y coordinate, which is 0 here, by k. Okay, and the x coordinate is fixed. Whatever is here, this is h here, so you are keeping it fixed, right? H here, h here. So now this is equal to limit k going to 0 f of h comma k minus f of h comma 0 upon k. Now, by definition of the function, this is f of hk, and this h comma 0 is 0 because, sorry, h comma 0 is also from here because x, y both are not 0. So you will use this function definition. So with this definition, this will be hk into this quantity will be hk into h square minus k square upon h square plus k square. And this quantity will be h into 0 into h square minus 0 square upon h square plus 0 square. So that is 0 because of this 0 upon k. Limit k going to 0. Okay. Now you see here this k and this k will cancel. So this is equal to limit k goes to 0. So this you will get, this is your 0 right? This is 0. So h square and h square will cancel. So your answer is h. So this quantity fy h comma 0 is h. This quantity is h. Now let us compute fy at 0, 0. If you compute fy at 0, 0, that will be curly f by curly y at 0, 0. That by definition is limit k going to 0, f of 0, comma 0 plus k minus f of, is that thing clear? 0, comma 0 upon k. So you just compute it. What you will get, this is equal to, this is also 0, this is also 0. So this is 0, right? So this quantity here is 0. Therefore, what will be your fyx? Therefore, fyx at 0, 0 will be, I'm just putting the values here. This will be limit h going to 0, h minus 0 upon h. Limit h going to 0, h minus 0 upon h, which is 1, right? Now, similarly, in this example, if you compute, similarly, you compute fxy at 0, 0, that is equal to minus 1. So you can see here that fxy is not equal to, sorry, okay, this was your fyx is not equal to fxy, right? So in this example, you can see here fxy at 0, 0 is not equal to fyx at 0, 0, right? But the problems mostly you will encounter, their fxy is equal to fyx. Okay, so what is the condition? What are the conditions on f such that fxy is equal to fyx? So the conditions are, if f and its partial derivatives, if f and its partial derivatives fx, fy, fxx, fxy, fyy, fyx, fyy are continuous, then fxy is always equal to fyx. Okay, so at whatever point they are continuous, their fxy will be equal to fyx. For example, if you are talking about such functions, f of xy is equal to x square plus sine xy, then because we know that this is a nice function, it is continuous and all its derivatives will also be continuous. So there you generally have fxy is equal to fyx. Okay. So in mostly in your course, we always have a function which is continuous and all its derivatives are also continuous. Then you can see that fxy will be always equal to fyx. So you don't have to worry much about the cases where fxy is not equal to fyx. Okay. Is that okay? So this case is rare for you. Mostly you will have fxy is equal to fyx. Okay. And you should note that continuity is not required for derivatives, for partial derivatives to exist, as I have explained in yesterday's lecture. Fine. So this was one point which I wanted to make. So now we will move on to an important thing which is called chain rule.
मैम
Okay,
तो
so
डेरिवेटिव का कंटिन्यूस होना जरूरी है, फंक्शन का नहीं, मतलब फंक्शन के डेरिवेटिव भी कंटिन्यूस होना चाहिए.
yes, function and its derivatives, if they
Oh.
are, then you will always have fxy is equal to fyx.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am. Thank you.
called Euler's condition. But you don't have to worry because we are not proving these things. Just a statement I'm making. So students, till now we have done 12.1, 12.2, 12.3. Okay, and tutorial. Which tutorial sheet? Can you tell me? Yesterday.
मैम एक प्रॉब्लम है मैम, एलएमएस पे ये नहीं डालने कि 12.1 के कौन से क्वेश्चंस करने, तो आप बता सकती हैं कौन से करने हैं मैम?
12.1 beta, you can see. Okay, I will send you on WhatsApp. Okay, I'll send you the problems also. Because I think I have not shared with you the exercises.
No
Have
ma'am,
I?
you haven't. No ma'am, you haven't.
I'll share the exercises also and I will tell the what problems you have to do.
Okay ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. tutorial number 5 8.
Doing this tutorial sheet, everybody. Okay, up to tutorial 4, it was our last chapter, 8th chapter. Okay, so now
नहीं हुई
Ma'am, your voice is not coming. Hello?
we already know that suppose f is a function of, say,
ma'am your screen and voice are not coming.
okay, am I
Yes,
audible?
Ma'am, now you are audible.
Ma'am now your screen also came.
Okay, so did you get this point that 12.4 is not in your syllabus?
Yes, ma'am.
3 you have to do tutorial 5, and now we are starting with exercise 12.5, which is about chain rule. Okay,
Excuse me, ma'am.
now
Ma'am, in
Ma'am 12.3 over हो गई अब?
just a minute, one by one. Yes, beta, that girl, what are you saying, beta?
Ma'am, I was saying that in exercise 12.1, there is a topic of level curves and level surfaces.
Yeah, that is not in your syllabus, beta. Whatever
Okay,
I'm not covering is not in your syllabus. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, and one more student was asking something. Can you
Ma'am
tell?
12.3 खत्म हो गई ना ma'am? Ma'am
Yes,
12.3 is over now.
we are starting with 12.5.
Okay, ma'am.
So what is chain rule? Suppose f is a function of, say, y, and y is a function of x, right? Suppose this is a situation that f is a function of y is a function of x, right? So in a way or indirectly, f is a function of x. So we compute df by dx, rate of change of f with respect to x, by chain rule, which is df by dy, derivative of y with respect to x. This is called chain rule. This thing is clear to everybody? This is a normal chain rule you use when you differentiate functions. You compute the derivatives of function of one variable. For example, if I have something like this, x square plus 5 sine, okay? So suppose this is my function f, and I want to compute df by dx. So this actually is, f is your sine y, where y is x square plus 5. So you compute df by dx as, this is equal to df by dy into dy by dx. So this is cos y into derivative of y with respect to x, that is 2x. So this is 2x cos x square plus 5. So this is your chain rule. Now let us see how we will have this chain rule when we have function of more than one variable, right? So suppose this is already, you know, this thing, right? Now suppose you have this situation that f is a function of x and y. Okay, let me call this as w, and suppose x further is a function of t and y further is a function of t, right? W is a function of x and y, x further is a function of t, y further is a function of t. Then indirectly, w is a function of only t, right? Can you see this thing? Ultimately, w is a function of one variable, that is t. Therefore, we can talk about dw by dt, derivative of w with respect to t. So this is a situation that you have w is a function of x and y, right? Then it means that w is a function of x and of y. Then x is further a function of t, and y further is a function of t, right? So we have to compute dw by dt, derivative of w with respect to t. So what will be that? Now you see, w depends on t by a x also, and w depends on t by a y also. So that will be partial derivative of w with respect to x into dx by dt. So this is the rate of change with respect to t that comes via x, plus partial derivative of w with respect to y into dy by dt. Is that thing clear to everybody? So you see what is happening? You have rate of change of w, because here f is a function of x and y, two variables. So we have partial derivatives here, curly w by curly x, and here also we have curly w by curly y. Now because x is a function of single variable t, so we have complete derivatives dx by dt here, and here we have dy by dt. So the total dependence of w on t will come from here also. This is normal chain rule. Dekho, w is a function of x and x is a function of t. So rate of change of w with respect to t will be curly w by curly x into dx by dt. Why this curly? Because w is not only a function of x, that is a function of y also. Then the dependence from y, we will add that dependence. Is that step clear to everybody? This is important. This is your chain. Okay, let me explain again. So you see, this is your situation. You have w, a function of x and y, right? So this is your w here. So it is a function of x and y. X further is a function of t, and y further is a function of t. So it means that w is a function of t. So we will compute dw by dt, rate of change of w with respect to t. That will come from dependence of w on x, that is from this side. So what will be that? By chain rule, what is the rate of change of w with respect to t if you consider only x? That will be curly w by curly x into dx by dt. Okay, and then what is the rate of change of w with respect to t if you consider only y? That will be curly w by curly y dy by dt. So this is equal to dw by dt. This is your chain rule. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let us, for example, you can easily do this problem. You are given w is equal to xy, and x is equal to cos t, y is equal to sin t. What is dw by dt at t is equal to pi by 2, right? So here you have the same situation. W is a function of x and y. X further is a function of t. Y is a function of t. Therefore, w is a function of t. So your dw by dt will be equal to curly w by curly x dx by dt plus curly w by curly y dy by dt. So you can just draw it here that we have w, which is a function of x and y, right? And then x and y, they are the function of t. So you have curly w by curly x here, curly w by curly y here. Here, because you have only one variable, so you have dx by dt here, dy by dt here. So your dw by dt will be this into this plus this into this. All the branches you will sum. So here curly w by curly x is, can you tell me what is the partial derivative of w with respect to x? Treat y as a constant. So this is y. What is dx by dt? Minus sin t. Minus sin t. Plus curly w by curly y will be x into dy by dt is cos t. So this is, you put the value of y, which is sin t. So this is minus sin square t plus put the value of x, which is cos t, plus cos square t. Now you have to compute it at pi by 2. So that is dw by dt at pi by 2. So that will be cos square pi by 2 minus sin square pi by 2. So this is 0. This is 1. So this is minus 1. This is your answer. Okay? Is that thing okay?
मैम
Yes, ma'am.
लेफ्ट साइड में डेरिवेटिव का साइन शो करते हैं पर हम राइट साइड में जब पहले वो करते हैं तो कर्ली का साइन शो करते हैं, रीजन?
But you see, okay, that is what I am trying to say, that ultimately W is a function of T only. So that is why we will talk about the normal derivative. But if you look at the intermediary step, W is a function of X and Y. That is why you will talk about partial derivatives. Got it?
तो इसलिए वहां पर dx by dt करा क्यों? पर मैम फिर कर्ली में कर्ली dx by dt भी तो हो सकता था, वो भी
No,
तो
no,
एक
X is
इंटरमेडिएट.
only a function of T. X is only a function of T. In X, there is no other variable. See, you will use partial derivatives when your function depends on more than one variable. Okay? In that case, you will use partial derivative. Here you see, X is a function of T only. There is no other variable. Y is a function of T only. That is why you will talk about dx by dt. You will not talk about curly x by curly t because it has no meaning. Curly x by curly t shows that x depends on some other variable also other than t, but x depends only on t. That is why you will use dx by dt. Is that okay?
Yes,
We will
ma'am.
do more examples, you will understand. So next example here, w was a function of x and y only. In the next example, you see we have, let us see, this w is equal to xy plus z. W is a function of x, y and z. X is your cos t, y is your sin t, and z is your t. So find dw by dt at t equal to 0. So you see what is the situation. You have w, which is a function of x, y and z. So you have x, y and z. And further, x is a function of t, y is a function of t, and z is a function of t. Got it? So you have to compute dw by dt. So that dependence will come from here. This is curly w by curly x into dx by dt. And here you have curly w by curly y. Here you have dy by dt. Here you have curly w by curly z. Here you have dz by dt. So what will be dw by dt? That will be curly w by curly x into dx by dt plus curly w by curly y into dy by dt plus curly w by curly z into dz by dt. Is that thing clear? Is this picture clear to everybody? You have a function
Yes,
w,
ma'am.
which is a function of three variables x, y, z. That is why you will talk about partial derivatives. Then further, x, y, z, they are the function of
Who is
single variable t. That is why you will talk about normal derivatives. And then you want to see what is the rate of change of w with respect to t. That will come from this dependence, from this chain and this chain. So you will multiply and add. Okay? So,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes, beta.
मैम अगर हम सीधा ये जो टी वाली वैल्यूज हैं वो सीधा डब्ल्यू में डाल दें तो?
Yeah, that you can do, but we will do that is little bit like what you can do is you can put the values in w. In place of x, you can put cos t. In place of y, you can put sin t. And in place of z, you will put t. Then w is a function of t. You can directly compute dw by dt. That will be same as what I am computing. Okay?
ओके मैम, थैंक यू.
Because it is not always easy.
Ma'am,
Here,
two is the answer.
Who is
obviously,
answer?
answer will be same. So what you are saying?
Two is the answer.
Yes, for this problem, 2 is the answer. Yes, beta. So you see, that is the same thing. But sometimes putting the values x, y, z in terms of t in w and then computing the derivative with respect to t is not a simple computation. That is why this method is better. Is that okay?
ओके मैम, थैंक यू.
So here curly w by curly x will be y into dx by dt, which is minus sin t plus curly w by curly y is your x into dy by dt, which is cos t, plus curly w by curly z, which is 1 into dz by dt, that is 1. So this is, now you put the value of y, that is minus sin t, sorry, sin t. Sin t into minus sin t will be minus sin square t, plus put the value of x, which is cos t. So cos square t plus 1 dw by dt, and we have to compute at t equal to 0. So dw by dt at t equal to 0 will be sine 0 square, that is 0, plus 1 plus 1. So 2 is your answer. Is that okay? Now we will go to a next situation where this x and y can also be a function of two variables. Till now x and y were the function of one variable. So you can have a situation. Next situation is that you can have w a function of x and y, and x further is a function of, say, you can call it as r and s, and y further is a function of r and s. Then you can talk about, can you tell me? You will talk about dw by dr, or you will talk about curly w by curly r? Tell me. Tell me, students. If w is a function of x and y, x
Curly
is a
W
function
by
of r
curly
and s.
R.
Yes. So ultimately, w is a function of x and r. So we will be talking about partial derivatives, right? So you will talk about dw by curly r. You will, instead of dw by ds, you will talk about curly w by curly s. Is that okay? So this is a situation that w is a function of x and y. So you have x here, y here. And then further, x and y, they are functions of r and s, two variables. So if you talk about curly w by curly r, so you have curly w by curly x here. Here you will have curly x by curly r, if we are going for this. And here you will have curly w by curly y. Here you have curly y by curly r. So this will be equal to curly w by curly x by curly r plus curly w by curly y by curly r. Okay? And if you want to compute this, then you will have, can you tell me? Curly w by curly x by curly s plus curly w by curly y by curly s. Is that thing clear to everybody? Somebody was asking, ma'am, why we are not writing in the last problem curly x by curly t. There x was a function of t only. Now here we are writing curly because x and y, they are function of more than one variable. Okay, so it is simple that when we talk about partial derivatives only when we have a function of more than one variable. So let us, here you can also have this situation that this is one situation. You can also have a situation like this, that w is a function of x, y, z. X is a further a function of r and s. Y is a function of r and s. Z is a function of r and s. So you have this situation that w here is a function of x, y, z. So you have x here, you have y here, you have z here, and then x, y, z. These are the functions of r and s. Then you will talk about curly w by curly r, curly w by curly s. So what will be curly w by curly r? That will be curly w by curly x by curly r plus curly w by curly y by curly r plus curly w by curly z by curly r. And what will be curly w by curly s? That will be curly w by curly x by curly s plus curly w by curly y by curly s plus curly w by curly z by curly s. So you can have different situations. So you should understand what exactly we are doing. So you don't have to remember these things. Otherwise, if you just remember them, if you just like just cram them, that will not be helpful. You should understand what we are doing exactly, right? So let us do one problem.
मैम एक डाउट था
Yes, beta.
मैम कि ये जो हर ब्रांच से जो डिफरेंशियल आ रहा है उसको हम लोग ऐड कर रहे हैं ना, तो हमें कैसे पता कि लीनियरली ऐड होंगे कि ये वेक्टोरियली या फिर किसी और तरीके से ऐड नहीं होंगे?
No, beta, you see, you have suppose you have okay, how should I, suppose there is something which depends on two quantities, right? Suppose your car speed, depends on say the quality or the you say company of the car. You have Maruti, you have Ford, you have Honda, maybe Tata, right? So that depends on the company, and also suppose that depends on the uh, friction on the road, right? Now, so rate of change of your car speed depends on the company. So if you have a rate of change from here and a rate of change from here, so what will be the total rate of change? Tell me. That is the rate of change from this branch plus the rate of change from this branch. That is always linear. You think about normal situations. If you have something depending on two things, then what will be the total rate of change? That will be the rate of change coming from one branch plus the rate of change coming from second branch. So it is always you add the things, right?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Do you get it?
Yes,
Ma'am, can
ma'am.
you scroll up a little, please?
Yeah, sure.
मैम वैसे इसमें जो W था वो आपने कहा जैसे अल्टीमेट R और S पे डिपेंड करता है, मतलब
Yes,
X Y Z का उसका रोल नहीं है, तो इसमें भी तो DW लिखना चाहिए था ना लेफ्ट में.
No, beta. It depends on, you see now W depends on two variables, R and S. That is why again we will talk about partial derivatives. In the last case, W was dependent only on T ultimately. That is why we were talking about dW by dt. In this situation, W ultimately depends on two variables. That is why we are talking about partial derivatives.
Yes ma'am, got it.
Got it? Yeah. Okay, let me do the problem. Then you, okay. Somebody was saying scroll up. Is that okay, beta?
No, ma'am, a little higher.
Okay. You have a doubt?
No, ma'am, I just had to copy. I didn't copy it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, you see this problem, W is equal to X plus 2Y plus Z square. X is R by S, Y is R square plus log S, and Z is 2R. Find curly W by curly R and curly W by curly S in terms of R and S. Okay, so let us do this thing. So if you have any doubt, then you can always make a picture, but if you are clear, then you can straight away write your answers. For example, curly W by curly R, can you tell me what it will be? W depends on X, Y, Z. X, Y, Z further depends on R and S. So that will be curly W by curly X by curly R, plus curly W by curly Y by curly R, plus curly W by curly Z into curly Z by curly R. Understood? Now what is curly W by curly X? Curly W by curly X is
1.
1. Curly X by curly R is 1 by S. Can you see, everybody? Plus curly W by curly Y is 2.
2.
Curly Y by curly R is from here 2R, plus curly W by curly Z is 2Z into curly Z by curly R is 1. Okay, from here curly Z by curly, sorry, 2. Fine. So this is equal to 1 by S plus 4R plus 4. In place of Z, you just write 2R. So this is 8R. So this is 1 by S plus 12R. This is your curly W by curly R. Is that okay? Similarly, you can compute curly W by curly S. Curly W by curly S will be curly W by curly X by curly S, plus curly W by curly Y by curly S, plus curly W by curly Z by curly S. So what is curly W by curly X? That is 1. Curly X by curly S is minus R
1 by.
square. Okay. R is a constant. Plus curly W by curly Y, that will be 2. Curly Y by curly S is 1 by S,
by.
plus curly W by curly Z is 2Z into curly Z by curly S, that is 0. Your answer is minus R upon S square plus 2 upon S. Okay? Is that okay? So you have this similar problems in I think tutorial 5 also there is one problem from chain rule. But for from tutorial 6 you have mostly questions are from chain rule. Let us do one more problem. We still have time. You have W is equal to x square plus y square, and x is r minus s, y is r plus s. You can clearly find curly W by curly r and curly W by curly s. So you can do it yourself. This is simple, right? This curly W by curly r will be 4r and curly W by curly s will be 4s. You can compute it. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is, suppose you are given an implicit relation between x and y, where y is treated as dependent variable and x is treated as independent. Then suppose something like this is given to you. I think you must have studied it already. Then how to find out dy by dx? So this is one of the application of partial derivatives. One of the application of partial derivatives. Right? Now here, if you differentiate it with respect to x, So how you will do that? F is a function of x and y. X is further a function of x. You can treat it as a function of x, and y is a function of x. So this will be partial derivative of f with respect to x into dx by dx plus partial derivative of f with respect to y into dy by dx. Clear it is? Is this thing clear? Is equal to 0. So from here, this is 1. So you get dy by dx is equal to partial derivative with respect to x divided by derivative with respect to y. So this formula you must have studied already, I think in your class 12th or 11th. Is that okay? But that is an application of partial derivative. That with the help of partial derivatives, you can compute the derivative of y with respect to x when an implicit equation is given. Implicit equation means
मैम
y.
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम मैम आपने
Yes.
dx by dx लिखा है क्या?
Yes.
ओके मैम.
So what I have done is, here I'm saying f is a function of x and y. X is equal to x, simply a function of x I can treat, right? And y is a function of x. So this will be dx by dx, that is 1, right? So this formula you already know, students. Have you used this formula already?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So this is how it is
Yes.
derived using partial derivatives, right? So you can
And
have...
what is the meaning of implicit relation?
Implicit means, beta, you it is not possible. For example, if I give you y minus sine x is equal to 0, here I can clearly write y is equal to sine x, and then I can compute dy by dx is equal to cos x. So this is called an explicit relation. Explicit means you can write y in terms of x clearly. But if I give you something like this, y square plus log of xy is equal to 0. Now from here, writing y as a function of x is not possible. So this is called implicit. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Implicit means you cannot extract x and y. You cannot make them separate. Explicit means you can separate them. Because if you can separate them, then obviously we can first separate and then you can find the derivative. But if it is not possible to separate, then you can find the derivative in this way. So let me do this one problem, then we'll stop for today's class. So we have find dy by dx if x square plus 2 sine y minus 2y equals to 0. Right? Here, this is an implicit relation. So your f is x square plus 2 sine y minus 2y. So using this formula, you can say dy by dx is minus partial derivative of f with respect to x upon partial derivative of f with respect to y. So that is minus partial derivative with respect to x is 2x upon partial derivative with respect to y is 2 cos y minus 2. This, your answer is x upon,
x upon cos phi minus 1
yeah, this negative also you consume,
minus.
minus cos phi. Got it? Is this thing clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I think in the next class, tomorrow's class, we will do 1 or 2 problems more and then we will move on to the next exercise. But you should practice tutorial 4, 5 and 6 for this chain rule. Okay. There are so many problems given in those tutorial sheets. Because if you will practice, then only you will understand chain rule. Okay, beta? So please do those problems. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I will see you
Thank you,
tomorrow.
ma'am.
Have a nice
Thank
day.
you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Gagan.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.